Okay, welcome to the final part of the book, which is spirit. Spirit and intuition is where we start with Spirit 1. What is spirit? What is spiritual being? Like peaceful being or joyful being? Spiritual being is simply a way of being in your life. Your spirit is the part of you that is your true self. This is what filled your little embryonic body to activate the person who was born and is you. Your spirit landed in the physical human embryo that grew into your body, and here you are, out you came. Having an understanding of this and knowing that your spirit is the core of you, the true essence of you. Knowing this empowers your happiness skills and practices. This is the place where living happily comes from, deep inside of you. So it makes sense to be in touch with this part of you. And that is what this whole spirit part of the book is going to be about. Ego is also a part of who you are as a human being. It comes with the human aspect of your being. It's like two sides of a coin, spirit and ego. They are very different. Ego creates judgments as a way to measure and order the world. Ego forms opinions based on judgments and assigns right and wrong, good and bad. On the other side of this is the spirit, on the other hand, that is fully accepting and comes from love, simply love, not judgment, not labeling. Spirit is simply the energy that imbues your body with life. And when your body ceases to live, your spirit goes on. It's a form of energy like light or sound. And let me acknowledge here that the word spirit is often used in other ways as well. So let's get clear on that for our purposes here in this course. For example, frequently the word spirit is a reference used in Christianity, or perhaps people use the word referring to a higher power, or even to refer to the universe. For our purposes, spirit refers to the core and the essence of you, the who you are of you. Spirit is innately calm. It's a place where we strive to connect with often by moving our bodies and quieting our minds, all the things we've talked about up until this point throughout the whole course. Spirit is the calm that we carry around inside of us that is always available. Even when we are in an emotional upheaval, it is there waiting for us to connect. So as we learn to connect with that quiet place, our spiritual center, we are able to connect with more happiness. This is what this section of the course is all about. When your mind is going fast with self-judgment, fear, shoulds, can'ts, this is the place to go to shift yourself to feeling better. Wayne Dyer writes in Wisdom of the Ages that spirit is inclined to being peaceful, non-competitive, non-judgmental, and it never makes demands. That's a pretty great friend to carry around inside of you 24/7. Many of the happiness skills you're learning are specifically for connecting with and cultivating this place inside of you. It requires letting go of the thinking mind and being present in each moment, things we've been touching on throughout this whole course. Let's also now look next at intuition. This is how you regularly stay connected to your spirit. Intuition is the voice of your spirit. When you have a feeling or you just know something in your gut, that's your intuition, and that's information coming from your spirit. Let's take a look at the diagram on intuition. First, there is a source of information, which is that feeling you have in your gut. I just had a feeling that branch was going to fall on my car. That's information, and it comes from an energy beyond this space in which we live, beyond this physical, tangible space. You might call it God, you might call it the universe, maybe higher power or source energy. The words are essentially all describing the same concept, and therefore it's fine to use whatever word you like, whatever one works for you. Next is your spirit, which resides inside of you. Your spirit is always picking up on whatever information you need to receive from the source energy outside of you. Then your intuition gets involved, and it strives to communicate with you, to get your attention, whether it's a feeling in your body, which we addressed in the body section, or a fleeting thought. It might be a vision you suddenly have that you think is imagination, but it's actually information, or something you hear possibly. Some people receive information in dreams. This is also a reason that we evolve our ability to hear as we journal, as we get quiet and we allow our pen to run across the page without interruption, because intuition can show up in what comes to us as we write as well. These are all ways that intuition strives to communicate on behalf of your spirit and the information that your spirit is receiving from the universe or source energy or God. Life becomes so much easier as you evolve your ability to connect with and hear your intuition. So let's take a look at these happiness skills that support connecting with and hearing your intuition. You have heard already a little bit about meditation throughout the body of this work. Now we're going to look at it in the next section. Not right now. In detail, we'll look at it in the next section. However, right now, we're going to introduce the idea of you beginning to make a commitment to meditation, because meditation is simply a practice of quieting your mind, which is exactly what's required for you to become present and connected to your intuition and hear your spirit and what your higher power has to share with you. That's already sitting there inside of you waiting for you to be quiet. So I'm inviting you right now to simply take a breath and to begin to consider choosing to meditate every day. And as I said, in the next section, Spirit 2, we're going to talk more about how to do that exactly in detail. So meditation is your first happiness skill. I'm inviting you to consider practicing on a regular basis to support you in connecting with your intuition and your spirit. The next one is body voices, and you've heard these words before when we're in the body section, that your body communicates with you. It wants to get your attention, and it wants to get your attention as a way of communicating from your spirit, from your wise core. There's so much information available for you in your body. And as you begin to understand this, you begin to connect more with the peace that's available inside of you as you begin to cultivate well-being by responding to my arm hurts or my shoulder hurts or I have a neck ache or my stomach's upset. As you begin to understand that this is messaging for you and you start to listen and tune in to what's there with deep quiet and releasing, with journaling, walking, body movement, you begin then to allow your body to be that communication resource that it's supposed to be. So cultivating your understanding of body voices is the key to this. Let me give you an example of a client I had once who had gone through many years each morning of experiencing an odd pain in her lower back she could never quite understand, and then would wrap around to the front of her body as well into her abdomen. And in the mornings as she was working in the kitchen, she had several young children, and she was getting ready for the day and supporting them and getting out into their day, she'd notice she'd be rubbing her back, she'd be having this vague unease and discomfort in the lower part of her stomach. And she realized after a while that this was really about the pain and the turmoil that she was feeling in her relationship with her husband. She had chronic emotional pain for many years in that relationship, and it was showing up in her body. As we began to do this work and she went deeper inside of herself to release the things that were stuck there, and she started to change her beliefs about what was possible in her life, she was able to then start to release the pain that was manifesting in her body, trying to get her attention. So it's back to the question, what's there for you? And beginning to hear what the messaging is that's coming up as discomfort in your body. Your first step is to cultivate your awareness of this and to begin the conversation with your body through journaling, which is our next and third happiness skill for this section. And I hope that by now you have begun your journaling. There is a section in the introduction part of the book about journaling, the hows, the whys, the what you need to have to do this, and about shifting your perception of journaling. There's nothing you have to create in journaling. There's no handwriting you have to use. There's no spelling or particular grammar or punctuation you have to use. This is you beginning to practice and cultivate with yourself a conversation of what's there inside of you. It's taking it out of your head and it's putting it on paper and taking it out of your body or the places that maybe you're hurting inside your body or the discomfort you might have. Maybe your hands are tingling. It's about that and more. We have discussed it several times throughout this course, and you have noticed the icons along the pages and many edges of the pages that have triggered you and suggested that you do some journaling about something. That's you being in conversation with you. It's about you cultivating your relationship with you. If you missed that part of the book, please do go back to introduction and read more about that. With your consistent journaling, your connection to your spiritual knowing will become stronger, and your writing will become clearer and more helpful to you the more often you do it. It's all about practice. All of your happiness cultivation is about practice. So let's take a look at the summary. We have 3 boxes here to consider. The first is meditation. Do you want to check that box as we head into Spirit 2 and talk more about that? Do you want to check the body voices box? Do you want to cultivate your understanding of what's showing up in your body? What's it trying to say to you? And how about the journaling to connect with what's deep inside of you, to hear what the conversation is that you want to have with yourself and that your spirit is trying to convey to you as well? You're doing great. Thank you for being here in Spirit 1. I'll see you in Spirit 2.